Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Iron Flame, and this will be spoilers, mostly because it's the sequel, so I don't know, maybe I'd do a spoiler-free section if it wasn't the sequel. Anyway, so let's just jump right into it. So Jack lives. I really got straight into the spoilers because I have my notes and I literally just put, literally was not an appropriate adverb there. What is it, an adverb? Who knows? So this kind of threw me for a loop because Rebecca Yarros has said in an interview before that she's not a fan of like bringing people back from the dead, which I guess he never died in the first place. But I'm kind of like, this is very unserious to me because everybody thought he was dead. I kind of hate that. I kind of hate that when it's not exactly what Rebecca Yarros was talking about. What she's talking about is when somebody is dead, confirmed, and then they get resurrected. She said that she's not a fan of that. She doesn't plan to do that in her books. But I also don't like when somebody is heavily theorized to be dead, like this situation where he was crushed under the rubble, okay? And then months, sorry, I got an alert that my iPad is dying. Then months later, they come out of nowhere. They come out of the woodworks. I mean, I guess he's been with Nolan this whole time getting treated and blah, blah, blah. And I just, no thoughts, head empty. When he saved Violet, okay, love that. I thought he was coming for his redemption arc, right? Like that's where the book was headed, that maybe he had a come to Jesus moment. Maybe he literally met the gods, you know, whenever he almost died or whatever. And then I must admit, this book confused me. I probably should have started there. I must admit I'm confused and I'm upset. But in the end, he was the villain, right? Like and I already forgot the name because I was reading Crescent City, and aren't they called the Vanir? What are these ones called? Girl, I probably should have Googled it. But then he ends up being one of those freaks. So I'm like, why did he save Violet? Is that gonna come full circle at some point? I don't know. Okay, Major Varrish. Evil, terrible, good villain, I guess. I'm glad that finally they got rid of him, but I thought he was gonna be around for a minute because he was just a constant disgust. No other words. Dain in his traitor era. Psych, that's what I put. Yeah, I knew Dain was real. I knew it. Like, how are you gonna be childhood friends with someone and then betray them? Like, I knew he was always real, but I really liked that scene, actually. Okay, so I'm saying that, but that's not true. I think when I was reading it, I was like, oh my God. And that's the whole point. That's why Yarros did it, okay? It was for the suspense. But yeah, I guess she really did a good job of making that, will he or won't he? Is he good or is he evil? You know, she did do a good job of making that suspicion, you know, increased, because he did say that he wouldn't save Violet if she died, which I saw some people kind of say that they didn't like that part of the book. Some people on Reddit were saying that's so inconsistent with his character and such a weird, dumb thing to say. Like, obviously he would. And I agree. Like, I don't even know why he said that. Like, be for real. Like, what? I think he just said it, but didn't really believe it. And he knows if the situation came down to it, he would save her. But then again, I don't know, because Dain does give me kind of like earth sign vibes. I'm already talking about astrology again. But kind of, well, if she won't save herself, you know, he did tell her, good luck or I'll miss you or whatever. So, but then he claims that he didn't know that she was actually being led to her death. It's just, he is kind of confusing. And you know what? I don't know if it's inconsistent or if he's just an inconsistent person. If he's just morally gray, he's been brainwashed by Navarre and his father, and he thinks one thing and wants to stick to rule and structure and order because that's easier to do, somebody telling you what to do. But then what about what's right? What about your feelings? He does seem to be one of those people that's more on the logical, rational side and wants to turn those emotions off, but he loves Violet at the end of the day. So that's something that I was very confident in. I'm confident that he loves her and that everything he says may not be true. And I was like, he can't do her like this. He wouldn't. And then he didn't. And I was like, yeah, I knew it. So I will say, I don't know if I'm a Dain stan. I can't say that for sure, but I do like Dain. Not for her, not in a romantic way, but I like him. I do. Okay, Catriona, Cat. Okay, I know some people are not here for the love triangle, or if you could even call it that. I know some people are not here for two women fighting over a man, physically and not physically. But I was kind of here for it. Okay, I was kind of here for it in a messy way. In a messy way, okay? Okay, it's not feminist, whatever. But that being said, it wasn't even that bad. Like, Violet, they weren't throwing, well, Kat was definitely throwing jabs. But, like, Violet was very classy. I feel like she was pushed to a limit. Like, at some point, it wasn't even about Xaden. It was like, you are crazy and pushing it. Like, you are doing way too much. And so, and then Catriona's motive did seem to be about the throne, which is also confusing because he doesn't have a throne, but he could. Because that's another thing that's kind of confusing to me. Is it kind of like the prime minister royalty thing? Like, Xaden is the heir to the royal throne, if you will, and then the prime minister, who is whoever it is over there, the guy who's leading the show, like, it sounds like Xaden was just kind of letting him do his thing. Like, the prime minister do his thing while the royalty just does what? I don't know. Lead the army? I don't know. It was just a little bit weird. But Kat does seem to be after that. I mean, why doesn't she go after someone else? Well, I guess it's because she has history with Xaden. Kind of weird. I don't know. Like, I was kind of here for the messiness. I was here for the fight, honestly. I was a little bit here for it, I won't lie. But I did think it was kind of weird that Xaden got intimate with her right after the fight. I was like, what? Was it just me, or I was like, doesn't she have bruises on her face or something? And was he turned on by that? Because that's kind of weird. I liked that scene in general because of the throne. My house, my chair, my woman, or whatever he said. Like, oh, like, you already know. I am thirsty for that man. I really am. But, I'm sick, by the way. That's why I sound like this. I don't know. It was for the plot, okay? I mean, I wasn't mad at it. Was it feminist? No. Okay? So, Sloane. Oh yeah, I like Sloane. I always knew that she was going to come around. I always knew that she was dealing with complex grief and trauma and blaming Liam. And it made me emotional. Her reading the letters from Liam. And, the one that was saying that you would love Violet. She reminds me of you. Like, oh my God. I got chills. I did. I got chills in the last video too. I knew Sloane would come around. I knew Sloane would be cool. And I'm very happy to see it, that progression. I know people hated her in the beginning, but I'm like, y'all, what did you expect? Like, that would have been me. Sorry, that would have been you, you know, if it were your shoes. Okay, General Sorrengail. She confused me. I didn't understand. Like, I didn't think that she was going to be willing to work with her kids, or I guess I should say Violet. I didn't think that she would try to be on the right side of history. She was just kind of confusing me. I don't know. But then in the end, when she gave her life, that was pretty emotional. But I didn't know how to feel about it. Because I will say, I understand that Rebecca Yarros was trying to make the morally great character. And I guess that's what it's kind of like Dain all over again, right? And so I think that can be hard for a reader. I will say, I like a morally great character. I like all that. I don't want to, like, predict everything that they would do. But at the same time, well, I guess this is just humanity. This is just humans. Like, you're never gonna know someone's true intentions or motives, or they're gonna do stuff that wouldn't make sense. Like, that's what happens. You can't fully predict anything. So I guess with General Sorrengail, she was kind of flip-flopping, and she would be nice to her kids one minute and admit her feelings, like admit how much she cares for them and everything she did is for them. I mean, she's always said that. She's always been pretty consistent about that. I guess it's just her way of showing it may seem contradictory, but to her it wasn't like that. Excuse me. But it was just kind of sad the way that it ended, right? Because I don't know why I'm laughing, but like, she still didn't say I love you, did she? I can't remember. It seemed like a proper sacrifice. It seemed like the way this book ended made a lot of sense. It was sad. But I wasn't devastated because I knew how much Violet didn't like her mom. And I honestly don't think that opinion will change for any of the kids. For Mira, for Brennan. I think maybe more is going to come out where they'll really be like, oh my God, My mom loved me, maybe, but I think at the end of the day, the things that she did, the mean, hurtful things that she said, the ways that she wasn't there for her children emotionally, I don't think that will ever be repaired or explained. And maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be devastated. I wasn't happy, and I guess I was supposed to feel that bittersweet feeling, just very complicated about, you know, they didn't have a good relationship with her mom. It was broken. It was probably never going to be perfect or good ever, but you know, it's still sad to see her die, of course. I don't know. She had like a sad life, having the love of her life die and having to raise 3 kids on her own. Like, maybe she did do the best she could, but at the same time, the emotional verbal abuse, I mean, how can we move past that? You know? Okay, so the magic, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I started getting confused with the runes. They really lost me. Like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know. I'm getting confused left and right with this book, and not with the politics. I could understand what was going on with the world and with the politics, but I also will say, okay, I've heard a lot of things about this book, that people hated it, that it was so bad, that it was so boring, blah, blah, blah. I really liked the first 80%. Like, I was gripped, I was excited, I was like, oh my god, this is kind of good. Then at the end, like I said, and it wasn't even just the end, like, Jack living was kind of weird to me, but it was intriguing seeing him save Violet and then seeing that ending revealed with him. Okay, and then a lot of things were cool, but then in the end, they lost me. Like I said, I started getting confused with the runes. I've been a little bit confused about the magic for a minute now, specifically the runes, and then the griffins. Like, what is going on with the griffin riders? Like, I know that they're important and that they play some sort of role and they helped and everything, but is it just me, or I don't know, they just seem kind of not that useful, and I don't get it. Is it just me? I don't know. And when they were climbing up that thing, and then Rydek almost died, but then he didn't. I was like, what is this? Like, what am I reading right now? Seriously. I don't know. And then in the end, it felt like a lot of things got revealed. I mean, specifically Xaden having a second signet. And that was cool, I guess. I kind of had a feeling because he's been reading her mind for a long time. I just thought it was because of the dragons, but I thought she had to kind of like shoot the message over to him, right? That's how it worked with the dragons. So the fact, there were many times where he read her mind and she kind of caught him, but she never asked about it, which is another thing where I feel like that was kind of weird. Like, why did she never ask about that? Like, how did you not guess literally exactly what I was thinking, right? Because it's not that far off. Like, we live in a magical world. How did you know that, right? But I kind of saw it coming, but then I forgot that it's this scandalous thing, like he could get killed for it. So I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I kind of wanted his signet to be something crazier, like, because they really hyped it up. And I was like, oh my god, what is it going to be? And then it was that. And I was like, oh, I guess somebody was killed for that. And I guess it is a big deal. But then it just kind of made me think, like, and then the way he described it, oh, but I can't actually read their mind, but I can read their intentions. And I'm like, but what does this mean? So can we just win this whole thing? Like, but then could he not read the intentions with that king? You know, was it Catriona's dad, or I don't know where they were, but like, sorry, I just hit something. Like, can he not have read the intentions that, is it a vanir or not? I can't remember the name of the creature, but did he know that that thing was going to come out of the dresser and go for Violet? Did he not see that intention in the king before it happened? And I know that's why he didn't want her to go and see the king, but then he agreed to it anyway. And then when they were in the room together, was he not like, oh, I have to stop this? Because I don't think it was of the mindset of, oh, Violet can handle herself. Like, no, that was extremely dangerous. So did he not sense that? I just don't get it. I just feel it's a complicated thing. It's a complicated power to give a character, because now what? Like, are they all powerful? That's why the military wants them getting, can I speak? That's why the military wants them rid of. English, nowhere to be found. But yeah, and then in the end, Xaden was revealed to be whatever the creature is that I can't even remember the name of. Y'all are like, did you even read this book? It sounds like I read the Spark Notes version of the book. Yes, I read the book. I bought this merch after reading the first book. I probably should have waited until I read the second book. I also got another sgaeyl sweatshirt. It's super cute. It has sgaeyl, tairn, and andarna on it. I'll link the Etsy shop down below for this one at least, because I'm not wearing the other one. But this book, the last 20%, it really threw me for a loop, and not in a good way. I really hope Rebecca can make this series good. Like, I'm kind of scared with the way it's going, and I think that's why a lot of people gave Iron Flame a bad review. Apparently it wasn't even rushed. Apparently she took longer to write it than she did with the first book. So, what? But it's just not going the way I expected. Like, okay, fine, xaden turned into one of those creatures, but now I'm like, but I hope he's somehow able to rid of it, because is his life not over? Like, where do we go from here? Because this is bad. And I know that's the whole point. Like, gag, like, oh my god, where do they go from here? Like, how is he ever going to recover? What will he or she do next? And it's just, I really hope it doesn't come down to the plot line of like, oh, he has to die. He has to like sacrifice himself. Or Violet has to be the one to kill him or something. I don't know. And also, is it just, and I guess that's the whole point, that's the suspense, that's why we want to keep reading, but what is their actual motive? Because, you know, they keep showing up in her nightmares, and they keep saying cryptic things in the nightmares, and then whenever they do actually see each other in person, but what is their actual goal? I don't think I know. Like, are they evil just for the sake of being evil? Maybe I'm forgetting something right now, but I like seeing all the theories on Reddit. I really like going on Reddit. It makes me love this series more and like Iron Flame more, because y'all make me think things that I'm like, oh, that could be cool, or oh, this could be blah blah blah. But just overall, I don't know. I just don't feel happy with the second book. I won't lie. I gave it 3 stars. Like, it was bad for her. Like, I love the characters, most of them, but it wasn't just the fact that xaden turned. It was just everything about where it's going. Like I said, the Gryphon riders don't intrigue me. I'm not really intrigued with where that goes. And we didn't see enough of the side characters. I actually wrote that down. I said, I wish I saw more of the side characters and their relationships. Like, the first book seemed a little bit more balanced. And that's what's hard, is because xaden did graduate, right? So then he's not around as much, but they did still see each other pretty often. That actually didn't bother me. I don't know. It's just, anyway, it seemed like a lot happened too fast, right? Like, they already all escaped Navarre without, you know, any sweat off their back. It just seemed very easy to do. And then they were able to just like quickly set up shop at xaden's fort, or I don't even know what you would call it, like wherever he rules. And, you know, they were able to bring some of the professors over, and they were teaching, and it was just like the Sgaeyl, but over here. But it just seemed a little unrealistic. Like, obviously they were running out of room, and they talk about that, and they talk about the challenges and everything like that. Not everyone came over, but it was just weird. You know what I mean? Like, not weird, but just not believable. And I know it's fantasy, but I'm not talking about that. Like, okay, the dragons are unbelievable, but just a lot of this was questionable to me. To talk about the intimacy scenes, I did like them. I did. I felt like this book was spicy. Some people said it wasn't. I loved the throne scene. I just didn't like how it was right after her fight with Kat. That was very weird to me. But besides that, it was hot. And then the shower was nice, but the throne was definitely my favorite. So, okay. I have to go. Thank you for watching this video. Here is my new, it's so cute. Here is my Pop-Tart sleeve that I got from Evening Star Paperwork, and I maybe will link it down below. Not maybe, I will. But, and I got the cherry one. Okay, I will see you guys in my next video. Talk to you then. Bye.